This is a very, very important question, a kind of a conflict which many people face in life regarding the sexual urges, whether we should suppress them, control them. As far as the Indian psychology goes, celibacy, brahmacharya has been given a lot of value. Patanjali prescribes brahmacharya as one of the five yamas. Whereas, the modern science, Western psychology says that you should not suppress emotions. Otherwise, it leads to inner conflict and can cause neurosis and psychological issues. So, this particular person is also facing the same problem. Preeti ji, please unmute.
Good morning, sir. So from what clinical experience and personal experience that I have, I think it is very important to first understand that you're having that urge and also use your prefrontal cortex to see for whom am I having it? What can be the legal, ethical, and personal consequences of indulging in that urge? I think it is important that we push the pause button, like for anything else, like for any other impulsive behavior, and not just act on that urge. So, I think that is a very key point to be aware of the consequences and then think whether I want to control it, whether I don't want to. But the bottom line is to have happy, safe, and healthy relationships and consensual relationships, as Gandhi sir was saying. I
Yes.
think this is in very, very brief what I feel about it.
Thank you. Thank you, Preeti ji. So, Preeti ji suggested that we should use our Vijnanamaya Kosha, the prefrontal cortex, and look at the consequences before indulging into it. And that should become the regulator. The higher order brain function should become the regulator of the animalistic instinct, which are there in the lower brain areas. Fine. This topic, has been discussed in quite a bit of detail in Bhagavad Gita, especially in the third chapter, when actually, uh, Arjuna Arjuna asks Krishna about, atha kena prayuktena papam charati manasah. Who is it, who makes a person do such kind of sins, such kind of activities which he does not want to do, as if by force, as if one is dragged into it. No, that is the question that Arjuna asks Krishna, and Krishna then replies and says, Kama esh krodha esh rajoguna samudbhavah mahashano mahapapma vidya dena miha vairinam. So he says that this desire, the lust, and the anger that comes from it is born from the quality of passion, the Rajoguna. It is born from Rajoguna. So, what is Rajoguna? Rajoguna is the tendency in us to be attached to actions where our whole aim is toward the fruit of the action. So, the tendency of the mind to be attached to such activity where one wants the fruits, something to gain for one's own selfish gains. The more people are attached to such kind of activity, the more Rajoguna they have. The more Rajoguna people have, the more will be the Avega or the intensity of Kama and Krodha in them. Mahashano. Mahashano, what does it mean? It means all devouring, extremely consuming, means never satisfied no matter how much it consumes. See, one thing is, okay, I am thirsty, I drink a glass of water, my thirst goes away, I am calm. I am hungry, I eat a wholesome meal, my stomach is full, I am calm. But that is something which does not happen with this karma or this the lust or desire. The more you fulfill it by giving it a free vent, it wants more. You give it some variety, it wants more variety. It is something which never ends. Stop eating. It always wants even more. So that is one of the problem. That is why it should be controlled. It should be controlled. Otherwise, like a wildfire, it will burn everything that you have in life. It will burn everything that you have in life. It is like a fire, and giving it a free vent would be like pouring ghee, clarified butter into that fire. Initially, the fire, when in control, can cook food, but then if it goes out of control, it can burn the whole house. So Krishna wants and tells that it is extremely consuming, it is very difficult to fulfill it, and it leads to great sins and should be understood as a dangerous enemy in this world. It should be considered as a vairinam. See, one very important thing is most of the people, in the world are not even able to understand who is the enemy, who is the friend. If you start keeping your greatest enemy in your house and understand it as your one of the closest greatest friend, if the philosophy of life for you is such that yes, life is for enjoyment and sex is the most important source of enjoyment and one should never suppress or control it, life is for this only. If this is the philosophy that you want to live in, then you are being fooled. Ultimately, it will lead to a disaster. It will lead to a disaster in your life and you will regret it. You will regret it if this is the kind of a philosophy that you are living in. This is what Krishna tells. So, one most important thing for us to realize is to know who is the friend, who is the enemy. Krishna is telling Nitya Vairinam. This lust or calm is a vairi. Do not consider your enemy as your friend. This is one important thing. Second, Krishna tells that as the fire covers the smoke, dhumen avrite vahini, and darsho malenacha, like mirror is covered by the dust, and then yatho albena vruto garbhastatha, the garb, the womb, the baby, the embryo is concealed by the womb, or the covering. In the same way, the inner knowledge, which all of us have our Vijnanamaya Kosha, all of us have that light which can give us insight into everything in this universe. That knowledge, that Jnana Agni that is there within us is actually covered by this Kama. This smoke of Kama, this dust of Kama, this covering of the Kama covers our inner knowledge. And if this Kama, we do not understand it as our enemy and start giving it a free vent, then our ignorance increases even more. We move more and more away from our Swarupa. This is what Krishna says. Avritam jnanametenam jnanino nitya vairina kama rupena kaunteya dushpurena alena cha. It is like fire, very difficult to satisfy. Again, he repeats and he says, it is like an eternal enemy, especially of the Jnani. Jnani no Nitya Vairi. Nitya means all the time. There is no time that this becomes a friend of a Jnani. It is always a Vairi. What does it do? Now, why is it that this particular action where I am indulging in sexual activity or in thinking about those urges or watching pornography, whatever that I am doing, why is this particular action given such intense, kind of aversion we can see by Krishna in Bhagavad Gita? See, dear friends, nothing brings attachment to the mind-body complex the way sex brings. You completely identify yourself with your senses with lot of intensity. So any such activity, especially done in an adharma way, not following the laws of dharma, then it leads to very strong identification of the consciousness with the body. Then to make it transcend the body, it becomes very, very challenging. And that is why it is considered as a nitya vairi of the jnanis. And where does it stay? Indriyani mano buddhihi asya adhisthana muchyate. Where does it stay? It stays in the senses, it stays in the mind, and it also gets into the intellect. Now, Pritiji was saying that one should use one's intellect to overcome it. No, it is only in the very beginning when the thought comes that the you have to actually give permission. No, okay, I am doing some activity, a productive kind of activity. Suddenly, an avega, a thought comes into my heart, into my manas. Okay, let me watch pornography in my mobile. Nobody's there. I am doing some productive activity. A thought has entered. Now, this thought, when it comes with such intensity, that the it is drawn by senses. Probably, I see something, something pops up in my computer. My indriya is drawn. I get a cue that then hijacks my mind. Then my mind and indriya together hijack my intellect, and after that I am gone. After that I am gone. Here, actually, one process that happens is, when the cue comes and when the mind is getting hijacked, intellect, they take permission of the intellect. We are going to hijack you. Are you coming with us? It is here when the intellect says yes. And then, or it comes as a very mild thing. No, we'll just do it for a minute, and then it is gone. So a permission of the Vijnanamaya Kosha of the intellect is taken. Most of us are not even aware that a permission is taken. It is only when the intellect accepts that I am going to go into it, yes. When that yes comes, when your signature is taken, after that, nothing in the world can stop you. Then it is gone. And how much force with which this is going to pull you down, or not allow, or not give any chance to your intellect at all, that depends on how much of rajasic karma that you do, how much of your 24 hours of your daily activities filled with such actions where you are doing it only for yourself. What will I get out of it? If that is the mentality behind all the karmas that you do, then the avega, the intensity of this karma hijacking your mind, your intellect, will be much more for you. Humanly, it becomes very, very difficult to control. So, two ways to manage. One is strengthening your intellect, which can say no and, hold it. Second is to reduce the avega, or the intensity with which the vega of kama hijacks you. It is in these two ways that it is managed. Then Krishna says, what is the result? If you are able to understand that this kama, which is actually the main reason behind krodha, the passion with which the kama manifests is the krodha, the avega. If a sadhaka who is first able to understand that this is my enemy and is constantly struggling and fighting with it, Krishna says, ma manusmara yuddhacha. Remember me and fight. What is this fight against? This fight is against these fellows only. What is Bhagavad Gita representing? The fight of Arjuna. Fight of Arjuna is against these kama and krodha only. So definitely we have to fight. And those who have been able to put on a constant effort, see, you will not win it one day, but you will win one day, provided you never give up. But if from the beginning only you accept your defeat, or you join the Kauravas army and say that, yes, I am on this side, then there is no chance that you will be able to ever understand or win over it. So one is to take a correct stand, correct attitude. And second is constant effort without giving up. No matter how many times you fall, you have to stand again. So those who have done this effort for years together, who have subdued their mind and are, then are able to Kama Krodha Vyuktanam Yatinam Yatachetasam, continuous effort without giving up. Abhito Brahma Nirvanam, become fit for Brahma Nirvana. Vardate Viditatmanam. No, liberation from material existence is possible for them. Have you ever realized, have you ever observed a soul which has manifested great divinity without controlling these urges? Has anybody ever you have seen who actually got into a state of intense lust and then attained samadhi? Can sambhoga actually lead to samadhi? No, not as per Bhagavad Gita. Anybody who has become great, who has manifested that divine quality, is filled with real compassion, love, well-being for all, has been able to actually channelize this karma only into higher dimensions of love. Yes, in mud only the lotus blooms, but then you cannot accept mud as your life, right? You have to struggle. The stalk of lotus struggles to come out of the mud, to rise above it. we definitely have to rise above it. And that requires a continuous effort, a continuous sadhana from our side. So Krishna says, therefore, O best of the Bharata, in the very beginning, Tasmat tavam indriyan adau niyamya bharatarshava. In the very beginning, become very alert. Do not give it any kind of a escape. Do not manage this fellow loosely. If you manage it loosely, it is very powerful. You will not even realize when this fellow has completely encircled you and made you slip on your path and fall down. Be very alert with this fellow. And the earlier you manage this fellow, the better you will be able to manage. So, papmanam prajahihenam jnana vijnana nashanam, destroyer of the knowledge and self-realization. Now, this is one aspect, that one has to definitely manage this particular energy, because this same energy is going to sublimate into higher dimensions of life. But then on the other side, we also see that Krishna provides a complete pathway, how it hijacks. Dhyayato Vishayan Pumsa. In the beginning, it is not at all powerful. We ourselves give it the permission to think about the sense pleasure. See, thinking is much more dangerous. Continuous thought process and imagination is much more dangerous even than doing it. Chintanam is problematic, because dhyayato vishayan pumsa sangasteshu pajayate. There develops the attachment. Sanghata sanjayate kama. Then starts entering the desire to possess it. Kamat krodho vijayate. Then that kama becomes more and more intense, more and more forceful. You just keep on suppressing within you, but in your mind keeps churning it. So karmendriyani sanyamya ya aste manasa smaran indriyarthan vimudhatma mithyachari sa uchyate. One who just keep contemplating the things in his mind but controls his motor organs, that fellow has been strongly, called as mithyachari. Mithyachari by Vimudha, deluded soul by Krishna. And he says that this krodha, this intensity leads to one sammoha, delusion. One gets confused about one's own role. One doesn't realize what is supposed to be done, what is not to be supposed to be done, and completely becomes the slaves of the senses and ends up doing activity which do not suit the person, and one falls. Buddhi nashat pranashyati, the intellect falls down. Then the other aspect of it is Krishna also tells in Bhagavad Gita, people were talking about suppression. Psychologists may feel that it will lead to neurosis, the kind of philosophy that you are telling us, completely suppress, hate your sexual urges. Then it will lead to neurosis. But then what does Krishna say here? Balam balvatam chaham kam rag vivarjitam dharma aviruddho bhuteshu kamo aham asmi bharatarshava. He says, if your kama expression, the sexual activities along the line of the dharma, then, oh Arjuna, that kama or that sexual activity is me only. No? So Krishna is telling that it is not that you have to hate this particular activity or become completely, very hypersensitive or aversive to it, but you should know the laws governing this activity and allow it to manifest as per those laws. Now, what are the laws? What is the dharma way of expressing the kama? No? So, one very important thing that we see in the Vedic literature is that there are ashramas. The before the grahastha ashrama, there was brahmacharya. So, especially in youngsters, you have to commit. You have to commit that I will do this sexual activity only with my partner whom I am married to, or completely committed to, in a way that, my parents, my society, and everything gives me the permission and allows me to express my kama or my desire in the most pious way, which is the agency of marriage, is actually written in dharma. So definitely the dharma realizes that there should be expression of kama. The fundamental purpose that this kama does is the next progeny that has to come up. So in the beginning, in the earlier years of life, definitely this urge has to be controlled. And what you should tell yourself is, I am devoted person, I am a sadhaka. I am going to express this desire or this kama only with my partner who I am married to. And once you are married, then also, according to Dharma, one should be completely committed to the partner and allow this activity to happen only with the partner. Then when it is happening with the partner, there are certain rules. You should not have sex during the menstrual cycle. It is better to avoid sex during the daytime. The biorhythms are such that even daytime sleep is not advised in Ayurveda. Forget about the sexual activity, because these are the activity which bring about disturbance in the biorhythms if performed during the daytime. It is always after the sunset, in the night time only, that the sexual activity should be performed. There are Vedic literature which say that there is more drainage of the dhatus or the energy when it is performed during the daytime. So that is another activity, another law. Third is according to Ritucharya. In the winter, this activity can be done more frequently, whereas in the summer season, its frequency should reduce down to once in 2 weeks. Because in summer, there is already lot of drainage and dehydration that takes place. The sun actually draws lot of energy, and therefore one should observe certain ritucharya, certain dincharya, and certain auspicious days like Ekadashi, Paurnami, Amavasya, Krishna Janmashtami, Shivratri, Navdurga. These are the kind of days where these activities should not be done. So this is performing the kama in the dharma way. If you break those activities, if you start doing it with the person who is not your socially recognized life partner, if you are doing it in odd time of the days, not understanding the season or the kind of situation that you are in, or you are performing it excessively, even in those period when it is allowed, you are doing too much, then all this will go beyond the dharma. But if it is done in a dharma way, then yes, it also contributes to spiritual evolution, and it will not obstruct your jnana. It will allow manifestation of your jnana. So therefore, this chariot example I always give in Katha Upanishad, the body is like the chariot, horses are the senses, mind are the reins through which the intellect is trying to control the horses. And this Atman, the self, is the observer, the divine which resides in our heart. Now, if the greed, desire, anger, all these, increase speed of emotion, if these horses go out of control, breaking the yamas, niyamas, the rules, the dharma, then definitely you risk lot of accidents in your life. And ultimately, dukkham adnyanam ananta phalam, ultimately suffering and ignorance. This is the only result if they are given the free vent. Whereas a skillful driver knows the art of slowing down, putting brakes when required, and he draws the strength and directions from the rider. Now the question comes, how can I draw the strength from my rider? Using skillfully the tools of yoga. What are these tools of yoga? So the rider can connect to the driver can connect to the rider by using different paths of yoga. The most important one among them is the Karma Yoga. Why? Because I told you in the beginning that it is the Rajoguna, the action performed with selfish gains, that is the main reason. Rajoguna Samudbhava, which is increasing the speed of this karma within you. So to control that speed of that emotion, Krishna tells in 5th chapter, Yuktah karma phalam tyaktva shanti mapnoti naishthikam ayuktah kama karena phale sakto nibadhyate. Offering the result of all the activities to the God, the karma yogi attain everlasting peace. Why they are able to attain peace? Because they are able to subdue the intensity of lust within themselves. So all the activities that you do throughout the day, do it for a higher purpose than only for your selfish ego. If you believe in God, offer all the activities to the God. Shri Krishna Arpanamastu. Even when you get up and do this yoga with me in the morning, at the end of it, offer this sadhana also to Krishna. Otherwise, you will become, this Rajoguna will only increase. You will become more ahankari, saying that, oh, I have been doing yoga for last 5 years. There is no one like me. That kind of ahankara will lead to your downfall. You will end up by force doing the activities which does not befit you. So at the end, all our activities, whatever hard work that we do, whatever good that we do, everything, rather than attributing it to our ego, we should attribute it to a higher self. We should offer it to God. This is one way in which over a period of time, you will definitely observe the intensity of karma reducing. They will not have that much grip on you as they have right now. One very easier way of offering all this activity to God is by performing continuous japa. Whatever that you do, your tongue should develop a habit of taking God's name. Ram, 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 Shri Krishna, Shri Krishna, 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 Radha, 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 Shiva, Shambhu, Durga, any name, Jesus, Allah, any name through which you represent the divine, you should keep chanting. Your tongue should develop a habit. The more you repeat the name, the more you will remember to offer all your activities to God. The more you do that, your Rajoguna will reduce. The more your Rajoguna reduces, you will observe that in those critical moments of life where you have to take a decision, you will have more resilience, break, and control over yourself. And in those moments, just run away. Just tell your mind, I want to run away. I will think later what I am doing, what I am not doing. But right now, I will just run away from this situation. I will not commit to it. And if you do that, when you run away, in that moment, you may feel terrible. But after that, undoubtedly, you will bless yourself. You will congratulate yourself for taking the right decision. You will feel more peaceful. Okay? So, yes, even if with your maximum trial, if you still fall and fail, then do not be filled with guilt. Do more japa, offer more activities to God, so that when the next time the challenge comes, you are more equipped and have more strength within you. Yes, definitely we deal with this problem with a lot of compassion, and definitely I understand sadhakas really struggle a lot to fight with karma, and this fight is very difficult. But I wholeheartedly pray that all of us are able to channelize our energies towards sattva, move from rajoguna toward the sattvic guna, and may all of us win over it, and reach a state, what Krishna describes in Bhagavad Gita as apuuryamanam achala pratishtham samudramapah pravishanti yadvat तद्वत् कामायं प्रविशन्ति सर्वे सशान्तिमाप्नोति न कामकामी. Just as the incessant flow of rivers is always there in the ocean, but the ocean never rises above its level, in the same way, only those are able to attain inner peace and calm who are able to tolerate this incessant flow of desires and lust into the heart. Therefore, my dear friends, perform sattvic karma. Do more and more japa. Offer everything that you do, not for yourself, offer it to some higher purpose in life. And you will see over a period of time, you are able to win over it. Most important thing is understand who is your friend, who is your enemy. Take the correct stance. Stand like a warrior and never give up. This is the attitude which is required against karma. And the Rajoguna that I was talking about as the major culprit from where the karma arises, apart from, dedicating all your activities to the higher purpose, I think two other important points to manage the Rajoguna. One is diet. In the diet, Krishna says that Katu amla lavana ati ushna ruksha vidahinaha ahara rajya seshta dukkha shoka maya prada. What are the kind of diets which increases the Rajoguna? The diet which is very spicy, the diet which is very hot, the diet which is Ushna Ruksha, drying in nature, and when you eat that kind of a diet, it creates a burning sensation within you. That is the diet which has been connected to the Rajoguna. What is the diet that a person who wants to control the Kama has to take? He has freshly cooked food, neither too spicy, not very hot, a diet which has seasonal fruits, fresh vegetables, boiled vegetables, sprouts, milk, cow's ghee. These are the dietary advices to increase the sattva guna. So avoid too much of onion and garlic. Diet has to be managed. And second is satsang. You have to have company of people who are on the same path. For example, even if you are trying hard, but you have the company where people are all drawn to the senses, then it will be very, very difficult for you to control yourself. Run away, literally run away from the company of people who are always drawn towards these kind of pleasures in their life. The only talking or only thinking in their mind is always about lust, always about sex. They are always seeing everything with those eyes. If that are the kind of friends that you have, please, 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 I pray to you, run away from them. Don't try to change them, just run away. Even when you take mobile, YouTube is there, Instagram is there, whatever kind of reels that you take, same reels start coming. So therefore it is here that we can bring up a change in the pattern. As soon as you get a desire that I want to observe a reel which will draw my senses, immediately think of some good thought and start watching the reel related to spirituality, related to any adhyatmic guru, any person that inspires you. Put some Bhagavad Gita reel, and then just tell your mind that let me just listen to that for some time. I will see what to do with this next. And as soon as you get into it, slowly, slowly, you see that those thoughts, those verses from Bhagavad Gita again start gripping you, and you have saved yourself. So the company, not only with people around, but company that you keep in your mobile also matters a lot. Every day have the habit of listening to some satsang that will really, really help you hold on to yourself for a longer time. Thank you. Thank you, Radhaji, for putting these wonderful thoughts. I request all of you to please contemplate on these thoughts. And I take this opportunity to pray for all of us. Day come when all our activities, each and every breath, offer it into the yajna of a higher purpose or to the divine in our life. And may this intensity of karma within us becomes very, very subdued, and all of us become eligible to reach the state of Brahma Nirvana, infinite peace, silence, and establish ourselves in our own true nature. Thank you. Namaste.